Welcome to Alex West Yoga YouTube channel. Today I've got a sequence for you to help with problems with the shoulders. Might be frozen shoulder or old shoulder impingements and things like that. And it can be a tricky area, so we're going to start just to increase what I call the plasticity of that region. The plasticity is the ability of something to move and mobilize and change shape without breaking. And to start with, we want to just see if we can increase that quality, that plasticization of the neck and shoulders before we do a few strengthening and stabilizing and stretching work for the shoulders. So just letting the arms swing a little bit and then letting the head turn a little as well. So all we're doing here is very easy loosening off movement for the spinal column. Spinal column, especially the upper spine, this bit here is very important when it comes to neck and shoulders, because the brachial plexus is a long Latin word for the group of nerves that comes out of the back of the head and then spreads down the arms and shoulders. Brachii, I think, being Latin for arm, or brachus being Latin for arm, so the brachial plexus is those muscles and tendons that come out of the back of the neck here. So just coming to a standing position and starting to just mobilize the shoulders. So just a little squeeze up the shoulders and then drop down. Squeeze up and up down. So obviously starting very lightly and remembering that, you know, yoga or movement exercises are no replacement for qualified medical help, and any yoga or movement instruction should never replace qualified medical help. It should only be a supplement, and even then only when it's recommended, or certainly not counter-indicated by your doctor. Just moving the arms forward and back now. So just getting the shoulders moving forward and back, testing each of these movements. And if you have got any long-standing or chronic problems with the shoulders, remember that you have to listen to your body, and with this particular approach, and you do need to not work into any areas that feel painful. You need to avoid the areas that feel painful. So if you sort of come to here and it starts to hurt, then don't do it. Stay within the range of what's comfortable, because the purpose we have is to increase the strength in the areas where we can increase the strength, and build up the strength and the flexibility around the problem areas. So there's a sort of it's like a sort of scaffolding support of increased muscle strength and flexibility around the area where the problem has been. So we know, so we're doing a sort of full shoulder roll then. So just squeeze the shoulders back, lift them up, roll them forward, and squeeze back, up, roll forward. So squeeze back, you're twisting the thumbs back to squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift the shoulders up, roll forward, touching the back of the wrists, and then repeat that. Up, forward, and back. So twisting the thumbs back, lifting the shoulders up, rolling forward and coming back, and then reverse that direction. So you're coming forward, the back of the wrists touch, lift up, all the way back, forward, up, and back, forward, up, and back. And then working on that little section of the spinal column that we were talking about earlier, with the brachial plexuses. Put your hands on your hips, lift your shoulders up an inch or two, and that just helps protect and stabilize the upper neck. And then gently, softly, again, staying within the range of what feels comfortable for you, just mobilizing the neck by lifting your chin up and down, and then just to the side 2 or 3 times again. If you can only go thus far and it starts to tweak or ache a little bit, only go that far. If it does move all the way around, then go all the way around. But you are staying, I can't emphasize enough, within the range of what feels comfortable. If you do that, then you can do all of this stuff without any problems. Now, taking the ear gently side to side. Just take the chin forward half an inch. And lift up through the back of the neck, so you're lengthening through the neck, and then you take the head carefully side to side, just to mobilize the neck side to side. And then fingertips on top of your shoulders and squeeze your elbows together just to get the shoulder blades moving forward, and then squeeze them back. Now, if that feels uncomfortable, then don't do it. That's just opening and closing the shoulders a little there. And then we want to just loosen off that shoulder joint a little bit. So if you just take your feet apart, put one hand on your knee and rest your weight into that arm. So this arm can be completely relaxed. And we want to just spin that arm around in circles. The arm itself, we want to be released. The weight of the arm just exerts a gentle pull on the shoulder, and it just gently opens that shoulder joint. Creates a little bit of negative pressure in that shoulder joint. That negative pressure sort of increases the sort of suction of the synovial fluid, the lubricating fluids, to the deeper parts of the joint. Just circle that arm around the other side. Now, you can do this, especially in the later stages of any shoulder problems, with a weight in your hand. You could hold a little small weight. If you don't have a weight, you could get something like a bottle full of water, or champagne, or Prosecco, whatever you like. Hold that bottle. Again, keep the arm relaxed. You've got a little bit of work, obviously, to keep the bottle in your fist. But try to keep the arm relaxed and just slowly rotate that round a few times. And that gently opens and releases that shoulder joint. So a few times around one way, a few times around. They're particularly good for impingement in the shoulder. This just helps to open out that shoulder joint. And by opening out, when it then goes back, it can settle into place a little bit more easily. So a few times that way. So obviously doing both sides, just arm around a few times, keeping the arm relaxed, and then with a weight just a few times around one way. Even if only one of your shoulders is tricky, then still work both of them. Obviously you can put more focus on the shoulder that needs more attention, but do work both, just so that one side doesn't get jealous. Because then if you just give all the attention to one side, the other side will get jealous and maybe create problems there. So it's a funny concept, but it's good to just keep things even through the body. So if you do something one side, at least do some of that thing on the other side, so that there's an evenness and balance through the body. Good. Okay, so after that, we just want to do a little bit of light strengthening work, particularly in the deltoid, this sort of muscle that wraps around the top of the shoulder. So what we have here is a very complex piece of technical equipment. It is something that's found in most houses, not all, especially the ones I've lived in, a dishcloth. And the dishcloth is what we use just to work the muscles with a little bit of isotonic work. That just means holding a gentle static muscular pressure. So we're just going to pull apart. So we're activating the outside edge of the deltoid, just pull it apart and hold it there. Now, there's probably, if there's been problems with the shoulder, there's going to be one plane of movement where it's not all that comfortable to do this. Avoid that, or do it very little. You don't want anything to hurt. You want to work in the planes of movement where it doesn't hurt. So to start with, we're just pulling out to the side. And hold it for 10 or 15 seconds, and then release. And then palms facing up, palms facing towards each other. We're going to pull up and pull down. Look, notice the elbows are close to the body here. Elbows are close to the body, which reduces the stress on the shoulders. So elbows are close to the body. Hold that again, 10 or 15 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Then just go the other way up. And this is pulling down, this is pulling up, so it's like a dynamic tension. You're holding it there, there's no movement, but the muscles are working. Hold it there. 10 or 15 seconds. And this sends the circulation into the muscles, and it's remarkably effective for just increasing the amount of nutrients and just gently working the muscles as they softly build up a strength. Now, at a diagonal now, so one up at a diagonal, one down on a diagonal, hold it there. So now I can feel, I've had a few problems with my shoulders over the years, and I can feel there, it's not quite as strong as I quite like it to be. So I'm not going to work too hard, I'm going to just hold it there so the pressure is comfortable, but I'm not yanking it, I'm not working overly hard. I'm going to hold it there softly with a soft pull. Maybe increase a little bit as the shoulder stabilizes and get used to the movement. And then I'm giving it a little bit more power, and I can feel the pressure and the circulation and a little bit of fatigue in the shoulder muscle there. Okay, now same thing, but the other diagonal. So up there, that's it. So holding it there, and it feels fine this side. This shoulder is a bit stronger here, so I'm just holding there with quite a lot of force. So a good 80% of what I'd be capable of doing, I'm actually as if I'm trying to pull that dishcloth apart. Very good. Okay, excellent. And now we want to just work in opposite directions. So just take the arms past each other. So we're squeezing. That's squeezing that way. This is squeezing that way. And then just hold that pressure. hold the pressure, hold the pressure. Little detail, as you do this, if you can have a mirror or something nearby just to watch your shoulders, because notice if you've got one shoulder that's a little bit lower, then just try to adjust that. Try to get your shoulders so they're the same height. And that will just help with evening. So changing over, other hand on top and squeeze. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then release. Now we're going to do similar sequence, but this time with the arms straight. So to start with, just pulling out to the side, opening there. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And this is a very good warm-up for the shoulders. So if you're in the late stages of any shoulder problems and you're going to do something athletic, then this would be a good thing to do just to prepare the shoulders before that sort of work. So let's go to a vertical position, pulling up, pushing down, pulling up, pulling down, pulling up, pulling down. Straight arms, turn over the other side, pull up, pull down. Straight arms, pull up, pull down. That's it. Holding for 10 or 15 seconds or more. You can do more as well, but to keep things efficient, expedient, that's the word I was looking for. To keep things expedient, we'll just do 10 or 15 seconds for the sake of this video. Squeezing at a diagonal now, so pulling down, pulling up, holding it there, so there's pressure in the shoulders. And then let's go to the other diagonal. Straight arms, bring a bit of pressure into the shoulders, and then crossing over. So this is pushing that way, that's pulling that way, and hold the pressure. So what we're doing by making all of these angles of movement and pressure, we're getting the circulation to every single little nook and cranny of the shoulder joint. It's an amazing joint, it's the most versatile joint in the human body. It can move in all sorts of different directions, but conversely, that allows it to go wrong in various different ways as well. So up, across the other way. Straightish arms. And then release. You notice there's a little bit of a pump coming to the shoulders. You can feel the circulation going there. Hold the cloth behind you. And again, just open up, squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Remember, if any of these planes of movement, any of these exercises hurts, then just do it less, do it very, very gently, do it to the point at which it doesn't hurt. And just build up around it, so holding that, and then release. And now, just as if you were doing a bit of Olympic weightlifting, but just using this dishcloth. Just a little bit of pull, and then just sort of pulling up and down, as if you're holding a weight, just squeezing it, pull up and down a little bit, just to get those lateral muscles working a bit. You imagine there's 100 kilograms on there, and lift up and down, and that just helps to squeeze the circulation into all the stabilizing muscles of the shoulders. That's it, and then lift it up to your chest. So down, up and down, just a few times, but keeping your arms tensed as if there's a big weight in this cloth, and then just a little push up and down again, pulling it apart, tensing the arms, just visualizing a strong weight. And I can already feel that my shoulders now feel as if they're quite well prepared to undertake some more vigorous activity. So let's cast this piece of equipment to one side and come into a cat position on the mat, hands on the floor. Now let's come closer so you can see what's going on with the hands now. So start, hands, all the fingers spread out. Look, they're not like this, the fingers are spread out. And these middle fingers are facing forward to start with, and then just take the weight over the hands so your shoulders are pretty much right above your hands. Now turn your hands out to the side. And then turn the fingers towards you, pushing the wrists forward. A little gentle stretch there. And then back, fingers out to the side, and then fingers forward. And move your body around, so just a little bit of weight. Round a few times. Now just notice what I'm doing with the shoulders. Chest isn't down here, chest is up and away. Chest is up away, so the shoulder blades are rolling forward and the shoulders are stabilised. Move around. A few circles one way, a few circles the other way. Same thing with the fingers out to the side. Move around. And around. Good. And then, with the fingers towards you, just around. Around, a little bit of gentle pressure and massage into the shoulders, excellent work. And then just shake out the arm, shake out the leg, I meant the arm. Come up, and just shoulders roll backwards as we were doing before. shoulders roll forward. That's it. And then coming to cat position. Now, depending on where you are with your shoulders, you can do all of these exercises. You can do this. What we're doing now is just a little lift up and down, up and down, just to change the angle of the pressure in the shoulder. Up and down, up and down. How strong are your shoulders feeling? Try coming into a plank position. If you can take the weight on the shoulders there, then just take a little bit of weight off the hand. See if you can hold it there. If you can, good. If it hurts, don't do it. Just coming into that plank, up and down, taking one hand up, down off the floor. If that feels okay, lift up a little bit into a side plank. And a little bit up into a side plank. So you're changing the angle at which the shoulder is taking the weight. If that's good. Now, you can also do this next one with the knees on the floor, which makes it easier. So just rolling forward to change the angle, coming to a little bit of a forward. It's not a full cobra because you've got your knees on the floor, but you're taking your weight forward into your hands, lifting your head and chest, lifting up out of the shoulders, and then taking the weight back, and just stretching your arms forward and just pressing your hands into the floor, pulling your shoulders back behind you. And then place your elbows on the floor, hands into a prayer position, drop your chest back towards your knees and stretch there. And then come up. And then we can maybe go a step further, walking the knees back, and then keep your tailbone tucking forward to protect your lower back. Lift your chest up, back, and then take a little bit of weight onto the arms, lifting the hips up so you're in a downward facing dog, and then just hold it there. And again, just move the wrists around to change the angle, so the fingers going forward, side, backwards, forward, side, backwards. So just changing the position of the hands a little bit just to vary the way the pressure is taken into the shoulders. And then you can tuck your chin in and bring tuck your chin in and come up onto your tiptoes to bring a bit more weight into the shoulders. And then come down. And if that's all good, try plank position. And if the plank position feels strong, vary it a little. Try around in a few circles. Round in a few circles. And then maybe forward and back. This may be later in the stage. You might need to do the earlier stages of the video first just to build up strength a little. That's that. And then going up. And then as you get stronger, see if you can take a little bit of weight into your arms. Maybe lifting into a downward facing dog. Maybe even taking one foot onto the wall. And then later when you're feeling stronger, maybe getting another foot and just seeing about taking the weight there. And then down, and then down. So that's the later stages. Remember, at every stage, make sure you can do the previous bit before you go on to the next bit. The first 10 or 15 minutes of the video are the best ones just to get things built up if you've had some problems. After that, the other exercises are good to build up the strength in your shoulders to the point which you can be doing handstands or cartwheels, whatever you need to do. Let's finish with a few stretches for the shoulders now. Interlock the hands, push the hands forward, lift up, back as far as they'll go. If it starts to hurt, don't do it. But if you can, work them back. And then come down, clasp the hands together behind you, squeeze the shoulders back and stretch them up and forward. And release down. Use a wall now. Get an elbow, put it on the wall, and then just turn your feet to face that wall, drop your chest towards the wall and twist away. So you're opening across the front of the shoulder area. And then the other side, arm against the wall and just twist away so you're opening the shoulder area there. Opening up, it just opens the front of the shoulder joint. And then just take an arm across the body. Get a hand under the elbow, push the elbow up a little bit, elbow pushes in towards you and look over your shoulder. And then the other side, arm up, across, elbow pushes in, look across. And release. Take one arm underneath, the other arm on top. Either hold the shoulders, or if you can, wrap your wrists around each other and then pull your elbows just in towards your stomach. And then release, change over, arms wrap, elbows pull in towards your stomach. And release. And just shake out the shoulders and loosen them off with a little bit of a swing. And there's a little offering for anybody who has any problems or difficulties with the shoulder. If you'd like any more information about classes or workshops, retreats, holidays, online classes, then contact me, alexwestyoga@gmail.com. alexwestyoga@gmail.com. In the meantime, wish you health and happiness.